and gentlemen, and welcome to the Breeders' Cup Saturday edition of the King's Court. I'm here with Cody and Jose. Cody, are you ready for a super Saturday?
Oh yeah, as always.
And Jose, I know you're geared up and ready to go. Your dad is very familiar with Breeders' Cups wins, isn't he?
Yeah, he won 7 of them during it.
There you go, and hopefully you can win a bunch of money, Jose and Cody, and me as well, hopefully. We'll get right to it here. We've got plenty of races to discuss. We are going to talk about some contenders and even maybe a pretender or two. We'll start with race number 4, which is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. There are 12 2-year-old fillies in this race. And Cody, you'd like to talk about Union Strike. There's something you really like about her, isn't there?
Yeah, I thought she won really nicely last time out. She looked like she had a ton of ability. She's trying 2 turns for the first time. When I looked through the rest of the field, I didn't really like anything too much. But when I saw Union Strike, I'm a pretty big fan of her. So I'm going to give her a good shot. She's 6-1 morning on, so she'll offer a little bit of value. And I think she'll be a good one to get the day started.
Cody, does that layoff concern you at all? I mean, we know she's healthy. She's fine in that regard, but do you worry that she may not be conditioned enough to go a mile and a 16th facing runners that have gone 2 turns already?
Yes, there is a little bit of concern there, but the runners that have gone 2 turns I think are extremely beatable. Noted being one of them. She won the last California prep. I thought she's definitely improving, but I think she's beatable. I think Union Strike showed a lot of talent in her last race, and she's worth definitely following up with in this one.
Noted and quoted is improving, but Union Strike beat her pretty good at Del Mar going 1 turn, and Union Strike looks like a filly, Cody, that will like going 2 turns. Jose, there's a runner named Valdorna. She only broke her maiden last time out, but she looks like she loves 2 turns, and she looks really talented as well.
Yeah, she does look really talented, and in her debut, she beat a filly named Untapped, who's the half to untappable. And that filly actually came back and won by 9 later on in the Keeneland meet. So that first maiden special weight in which she was second was a pretty good race. She handled that other maiden special weight pretty easily. I don't really love the price of 5-1, but I don't really see much in here. I think there's going to be a lot of pace in here, and she'll take advantage of some of that pace. So I think you got to consider using her.
Yes, Valdorna, the daughter of Curlin, turning out to be a top-notch sire here in the United States. Jose, you also took a look at Jameson and Ginger. She's a long shot you're considering?
Yeah, she is a long shot considering a little bit. She was ultra impressive when breaking her maiden over the slop last time. But her dam is Ginger Brew by Bernardini, so she's bred to be pretty nice. Ginger Brew was very, very, very nice mare in her own respects. And like I said, I just don't see too much in here anyway, so I got excuses for her first 2 efforts. Comes in with a massive effort, albeit over the slop. So I'll give her a little bit of an outside shot to play her at 8-1.
And Jose, you also are taking a look at Dancing Rags, a daughter of Union Rags, also the sire of Union Strike, Cody. But Jose, Dancing Rags won the Grade 1 Darley Alcibiades at Keeneland and beat Daddy's Little Darlin that day, who also shows up here.
Yeah, she did beat Daddy's Little Darlin that day, and it was not what I consider the strongest of groups. Actually, they went slower in this race than they did in the main special weight that Valdorna had won on the same day. That being said, though, 12-1 for a filly who just won a Grade 1 like that, who'll be sitting off the pace, I got to respect. I like these Union Rags. She's going to go 2 turns again. She's undefeated going 2 turns, undefeated on the dirt. So I think she's one that you definitely got to consider as well at 12-1.
And Jose, do you have a thought on Noted and Quoted? Cody says he's playing against her. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd probably be playing against her as well. I didn't think it looked that great down the lane going 2 turns for the first time. I think she's got a lot of speed. She's going to be part of that speed presence, and I don't see her lasting for the stretch. I also don't think she's really that well bred either. I just think that she was running weak races in those races that she won, and a few times where she faced a little bit of tougher competition, she got exposed.
Noted and Quoted is by the Factor, and the Factor was a speedster himself, but he was much the best going 1 turn. He wasn't much of a router. She was able to route, though, in the prep for this race. That's the Chandelier. So, Cody, you like Union Strike. Jose, you like a couple of runners. Veldorna, who broke her maiden. Also, Jameson and Ginger and Dancing Rags. We're going to go to the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf. And Cody, Lady Eli is hard not to root for. Obviously, she has a ton of talent, but she comes off of a very nice win, her first win since having a long layoff with that bout of laminitis. And she is one of the favorites in this race, Cody.
Yeah, she's going to be the one to beat. Europe is sending over a very nice filly and taking a big shot with Seventh Heaven. She's won 2 Oaks over in Europe. She won them very impressively. She didn't run as well last time out. She gets Lasix here, and I think this is the best one of the Euros coming over to take a shot against her. So I would definitely use her with Lady Eli, and I think those two are the main standouts. Another Euro worth mentioning is Queen's Trust. She's been beaten twice, Seventh Heaven, but maybe she can turn the tables over here.
And Queen's Trust is trained by Sir Michael Stout. Hard not to use his runners. He always has them over here in the Breeders' Cup ready to go. I remember he won the Turf with Conduit in 2008 and 2009, I believe. Jose, you wanted to talk about Seventh Heaven. You fancy her in this race.
Yeah, I like Seventh Heaven here as well. I think she's coming out of very tough races. I think she had a very troubled trip last time out where she ran 5th over at She ran 5th over at Ascot in the British Champion Fillies and Mare Stake. It was a very tough race for her. Like I said, a lot of trouble in there. So I expect for her to rebound well in here. Another horse I want to talk about is Nuevo Record, the horse coming in from Japan. The horse has been pretty bad in her last 3 starts. But if you go back to last year, she was in the Hong Kong Gold Cup, lost by a length in that race with 122 time form rating. Before that, she lost to Queen Elizabeth by only a neck. But if you kind of look, she never really runs that good during the summertime. And in the wintertime, she kind of rounds back into form. You know, she was second in the Queen Elizabeth in 2014 as well. She won the Nakayam Cayenne. She was second in the Suko Show, which is a grade 1 in Japan as well. So I think during the wintertime, she kind of starts to come around a little bit. At 12-1, I might take a shot with her.
Interesting pattern there, Jose. She will have to deal with an outside post position, but they are shipping her across the world to run in this race, and you'd think that they wouldn't do that unless they thought they had a shot, Jose. Say that again?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I said, they're dealing with a lot more than just an outside post shipping all the way from Japan, but they clearly think they have a shot. And, you know, Itagi Taki's a top rider from out there, and if she can find any of that old form, she's extremely tough in here.
Cody, is your top pick Lady Eli or Seventh Heaven? It looks like you think one of those two is going to win this race.
I'm going to put Lady Eli on top just because of my history with her. I'm generally just a big Lady Eli fan, so I'm going to choose her over Seventh Heaven. I think Seventh Heaven is definitely going to give her a fight for it, though.
And Jose, your top pick is?
Seventh Heaven, and then I'll go with Lady Eli. I'd probably go with Navo Record and then Queen Trust after that.
There you go. Jose, any chance you're going to play a 10-cent superfecta with those 4?
Maybe not with those 4 exactly. I'd probably try to look for something under. I wouldn't box them, but I think that's where the core of the race is found.
All right, there you go. Race number 6, the Breeders' Cup Sprint, 6 furlongs. 9 runners are entered. Joking is one of those runners. He is expected to scratch. He came down with a fever the other morning, and he's expected to scratch. So we could very well have a field of 8 in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. We're used to seeing larger fields than that. And Cody, AP Indian was a runner that comes off a win at Keeneland, and he was game down the lane, beating Limousine Liberal, who also shows up in this race.
Yeah, I've liked what he's shown all year. He got a weird trip in his last race, and he still managed to fight and hold off Limousine Liberal. I think he's the one, or he'd be at least my choice. I think it's a wide-open race. He'd be my first choice in this race just because of the trip he's going to sit. I think Limousine Liberal at 15-1 is definitely a worthy price of using. He ran a big-time race last time with blinkers on. He has a great post. He could sit right off the lead, and, you know, maybe he takes a step forward and gets the lead and wins this thing.
Yes, he earned a career-high buyer last time out. If you're a buyer's player out there, 104 and lost to AP Indian, who's been tough to beat all year round. So you'd think that trainer Ben Colebrook, who's a good trainer, you'd think that he'd have this runner ready. Cody, Limousine Liberal and AP Indian, you're thinking that the Phoenix is going to be a key race to this Breeders' Cup Sprint then?
Yes, exactly.
And Jose, I know you're from New York, buddy, but you got the California horses to talk about. You got a trio of Californians. Start yourself off with Lord Nelson.
Yeah, I like Lord Nelson in here. He's been really consistent, and I think he's probably better at 3/4 than he is at 7/8, even though he's been winning a few over at 7/8. But I'm going to look back to that Bing Crosby race where he just set off the lead and he came flying. It wasn't against much. Indexical was in there. Alfred runs third, but he really hasn't been running against much. He's just been visually impressive. He's 5 for 8 over at Santa Anita. Loves the surface. He's 4 for 4 at the distance of 3/4. The horse is training forwardly. He's going to get to sit off a little bit of a pace. Probably going to be the first one to go and get the jump on Massachusetts, Drefong, and Delta Bluesman. So for those reasons, I like Lord Nelson, and the horse is 4 for 4 on the year. He's very hard to not play.
He's 4 for 4 going 6 furlongs. He's 4 for 4 this year, looking to win his 5th race in a row. And his stablemate is number 2, Drefong, also entered here for trainer Bob Baffert. Drefong was last seen in August when he won the King Bishop, going 7 furlongs at Saratoga. He's by Gio Ponte, Jose. You'd think he'd be a turf runner with that pedigree, but no, he's a dirt sprinter, and he's a really good one.
Yeah, he's a dirt sprinter right now, but they might try the turf eventually. You never know. Doesn't seem like you have too much trouble stretching out with how we ran in the King Bishop. I don't know what they're going to do in here. You're kind of in the middle of, you're on the rail, so Delta Bluesman, well, not the rail, 2-hole, but you're on the inside of Delta Bluesman and Massachusetts. Do you let them go, try to kind of sit off of them? He kind of seems a little rateable. Or do you send? I think if you send, you're in trouble because Massachusetts is going to get the best out of Drefong and Delta Bluesman if they all decide to go. I'm not saying that means Massachusetts will win if they all go, but he's going to get the best of those two. I think if Drefong and Delta Bluesman both go, they completely knock out their opportunity of winning this race. But if you let Massachusetts get the lead by himself, he's going to be very hard to catch later on.
He's facing older horses. He's coming off a bit of a freshening. So it's going to be interesting to see how good Drefong is. I'm sure Bob Baffert will have this horse really fit. Mike Smith has ridden Drefong in his past, looks like 3 races there. He hops off Drefong to ride the likely favorite Masochistic, who has not been seen since Del Mar back in the summertime. He's very fast, Jose. He's by sought after. Not a lot of people know that sire, but he sure can run.
Yeah, he's a good runner, and he's really quick, and if he can get control of this race on the front end, I don't think they'll catch him.
Cody, do you think Masochistic is vulnerable here?
Yeah, I think he's vulnerable. He's beaten a combined 8 horses in his last 2 races, including a 3-horse race between Vijack and Indexical last time out. I think he's a play against. He's facing a lot better horses, and he's going to have. He's going to be on the outside, but I don't know if he necessarily likes that trip. He looks like he likes to be out in the clear, doing all his work on the front end.
So, Cody, you're going to go with Limousine Liberal and also AP Indian here. Those are your top 2?
Yep.
And, Jose, you like the West Coast sprinters?
Yeah, I like Masochistic and Lord Nelson here, followed by AP Indian, Limousine Liberal, and then Drefong.
All right, you got a 5-punch right there, Jose. To the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, we're switching surfaces now. And this is a wild race, fellas. 14 runners charging down the hill. And, Cody, we are going to start off with you. Cuts back in distance. Now, remember, a lot of people might think as a 2-turn turf horse, but a long time ago, he ran in a sprint and beat a horse by the name of American Pharaoh. He is by Munnings. That is is by Munnings, so he is bred to cut back. This is a very intriguing horse, Cody. I agree with you on that one, but tell us why you believe this horse is intriguing running down the hill.
I've always thought it'd be nice if they cut him back to sprinting on either the poly or the grass. Obviously, the poly is not really in existence right now on the West Coast that much unless you go up north to Golden Gate. But I think getting to the grass, going down the hill, I think he could be right up his alley. He's got a good post. He's got Gary Stevens. I just think it sets up well for him, and I expect him to be, run a good race, maybe 12-1.
Yes, he's going to be in the middle, in the price range. He's going to be right in the middle probably, and like you said, those outside posts down the hill are good. A lot of times you see a runner get 12 through 14, and you may be a little hesitant, but down the hill, 12 through 14 is a good post to have, and like you said, Gary can look inside, see what the others are doing, and make his move and decision as to where he wants to put him. But he's got a lot of natural early speed, so you'd think he'd be somewhere within the first half of the field. Jose, I know you think this race is a wild race too. We're going to ask you about A Lot for Chad Brown, who really does no wrong when it comes to turf runners, Jose.
Yeah, he doesn't, and A Lot seems to be doing really well right now. Got a little bit of a break after the Jaipur, came back 2 months later, ran the Forstall Dave, ran a huge race, lost to Taurus, still ran big. He's run a lot of big races in his career, and I think he's the kind of horse that gets to go down the hill and appreciate it. Seems like a 7/8 mile kind of horse, so I think he'll be taking advantage of the 6.5 going down the hill and be coming on late. Gets the 9 hole as well. Javier Castellano, Chad Brown, hard connections to overlook.
They win at almost a 30% clip together with 424 starters, so that's very good success when you look at how many starters they've had together in the last year or so. Cody obviously is one that we know likes the hill. A long time ago when he first came here, he ran down the hill and flourished. He's been running at 2 turns for a while now, but he comes back to the downhill turf course, and this horse might just take him gate to wire. He's so fast, Cody.
Hey, Cody, give me that ball. Yeah, I think he's definitely interesting. He's historically been a big factor in all the big races. He's a crazy horse, runs a great style, and I think that he might get a good trip. He's been breaking bad the last few starts, so I don't know how he's necessarily going to be positioned in this race. But historically, he has done good going down the hill. So I'm just going to give him a shot as one of my favorite horses in training. Just see what he does.
Yes, I would say that the break is very important in a race like this. It's important in any race, but especially in a sprint race, this is important. Jose, down the hill, historically, a lot of runners that have experience, sometimes if they're very good on the hill, they are very, very good on the hill. And you could say that about Ambitious Brew, has tons of experience on this downhill turf course. He thrives on it. He runs his best races down the hill. And here he is in the Breeders' Cup. He ran poorly last year, looking to rebound here against tough company.
Yeah, he's in a little bit tough, but he's 5 for 10 down the hill, and in a race where things are wide open, it's kind of hard to overlook a horse that's 5 for 10 down the hill, 7 for 10 in the top 2 going down the hill. So for that reason, I'm going to pay a lot of attention to him.
And one more runner, Cody, I want to ask you about is Celestine. What do you think about the placing here? Cutting back to 6.5 down the hill for trainer Bill Mott.
Yeah, I think they're taking a shot. She's shown she can go short on the turf before. She wouldn't really fit in the mile, I don't think. So this is kind of just them taking a shot to me. I'm not really a big fan.
So, Cody, what is your top selection in this race, unless you have a few?
I would probably just give I like Ohm in this race, so take a shot with him.
Ohm and Jose, who are you going with?
I like Ohm a lot, Ambitious Brew, and another horse that I like that we didn't cover yet is a European shipper, Home of the Brave.
Okay.
Who was coming over for Godolphins, run some good races recently over in Europe, running 2nd, 3rd, and 1st, and a vary of grade 2s and grade 3s over there. Horse is kind of heading the right way. A lot of 117, 119 time form ratings this year, so that's one that I'll give a shot to. Just trying something down the hill. Might have the ability to get it done.
There we go. Race number 8. The Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Mile and a 16th on the turf. 11 2-year-old colts and geldings set to travel a mile and a 16th. And we are going to start off with Cody, who will be talking about Syndergaard, a very quick son of majestic perfection. He ran a huge race, Cody. Went so fast with a nice Baffert runner named Big Gray Rocket. Put him away. This was at a 1-turn mile. And dug in gamely when the winner Practical Joe came up alongside. Just missed for the win, but that was a heck of an effort.
Yeah, he ran a crazy good race in his last. You have to respect him for that. He went 44 and change and took pressure the entire way and still nearly fought off Practical Joke late. So I think he's interesting just because of how much fight he showed in his last and how much ability he really showed. But 2 turns is still a question, so he's not going to be my top pick. He's just one to consider maybe down the line on your tickets.
There's plenty of speed, it looks like, in this race that he will have to contend with. He is going 2 turns for the first time, but there's no doubt he has a lot of talent. It'll be interesting to see if this runner is as good going 2 turns as he is at 1. Another runner, Cody, that looks very talented is Gormley. And what's interesting about this runner, Cody, is right off the bat when he broke his maiden first time out, you looked at this horse, he won by open lengths, and you said, well, John Sheriff's never wins with a 2-year-old. That means this horse must be winning off of talent alone. And then he comes back in the Grade 1 front runner and wins again going gate to wire. This time he's going to have more pace pressure like Syndergaard. Both of those runners have shown speed in those stakes preps. But Gormley certainly looks talented, Cody, and he's winning off of talent alone right now. And I think in start number 3 he'll be really cranked up.
Yeah, he looks pretty controllable, though. In his last race, he was facing a bunch of sprinters stretching out and Klimt and straight fire. He had the rail hole that day as well. Didn't break the greatest and then rushed up the rail, got to the lead, 23:47, and drew off late. So I think in here he looked controllable enough to maybe sit on the outside with the good post he has. I think he could be tactical and maybe take over and be the one to catch turn for home.
So those are your 2 you'll talk about, Cody, Syndergaard and Gormley. Jose, we'll start off here with you. Not this time. He may go as the favorite here when the gates open. Not this time is Well-Bred. He is a brother of Liam's Map. I believe he's a half-brother. I don't know if he's a full brother. Can you confirm if he's a half or full brother, Jose?
He's a half-brother.
Half-brother. Still very well-bred here. Not this time. Oh, yes, he's by Giants Causeway. I believe Liam's Map. He was a gray runner. He was by Tappet, but not this time. So far, he is living up to high expectations, Jose. He looks like the real deal, and he looks really good in the mornings prepping for this, too.
Yeah, it does look like the real deal. I was there the day he broke his maiden at Ellis, and it was very, very visually impressive, and he comes back and does the same thing in the Iroquois. He runs a massive, massive race, although in the mud, but he still runs a massive race. Looking at Lee, comes back and runs a very good second in the Breeders' Futurity. Had a little bit of trouble in the turn as well. Only lost the race by 3 lengths. Probably should have only lost it by about a length and a half, but had a trouble trip coming from behind. I think Not This Time is definitely the best horse coming from the circuit. And, I mean, he's got every right to be a freak, just like his brother. So this is a horse that I'm definitely paying a lot of attention to.
I am as well. I think this horse is going to be very tough to beat. He has 2-turn experience. He can sit off the pace, which should be fast. Not this time. Watch out for him. A long shot I like, Jose, and you like him too, is 3 Rules. And he's been running at Gulfstream Park, a Florida bred, but he's dominating, Jose. He's winning in hand by large margins. He needs to be tested, and he is going to get the test on Saturday.
He is going to get the test, and I like this horse because he's visually impressive. Mm-hmm. The last race going 2 turns, he did not look like he was struggling at any point of it. He was just much the best. That's the reason he was on the front, but I do believe this horse can rate. He's got Cornelia Velasquez on him, who's an absolute professional. Jose Pinson, a lot of people maybe on the big stage don't know who that is, but I grew up knowing who Jose Pinson is, and he's a very, very talented conditioner. He can get a horse ready just as good as any of them can. And, you know, I've got my heart in this one a little bit with the horse coming from Gulfstream, growing up in Florida. My ties are over there, but I really do think that this horse has got the kind of talent to take this step up. It's a tough group, but he deserves the shot.
He worked 57-3 going 5 furlongs the other day, Jose. That's cranking him up.
That's cranking him up. That's the Jose Pinson way.
That's right, and it'll be interesting to see 3 Rules, what he can do. He is a son of Gone Astray. Jose, you're going with Not This Time here, and Cody, I would assume you're going with either Syndergaard or Gormley?
No, I'm going to go with Not This Time as well.
Okay.
I'm going to put Gormley underneath him, and I just have mad respect for Syndergaard. So
there you go.
I'm actually sitting the same way. Not This Time, Gormley, Syndergaard, and 3 Rules.
I like it. May have to do some exactas with those runners. Obviously, very talented juveniles here. It should be a fun race. Race number 9 also going to be an interesting race here. The Breeders' Cup Turf, a $4 million purse. And Cody, you are going to talk about the exceptionally talented Flintshire. Now, last time out, he suffered his first defeat in the United States this year, losing to Ektot, but he was running on soft ground that day, yielding turf, Cody, and this runner came here specifically for firm turf. We know he's going to get the firm turf on Saturday. I expect him to rebound and run a really big race.
Yeah, I'm going to toss that last out. He didn't look like he got over the grass at all. Like I said, he was brought over here to run on firm grass. He doesn't look like he historically runs very well on wet turf. So I'm definitely going to give him another shot. I think he's definitely as talented or could be as talented as Found and Highland Reel. So I'm just going to lock myself into him and give him another shot. Hope people don't play him off his last race and not what he did before.
Good minds think alike, Cody. I'm exactly 100% with you on that one. Jose, you've got the 2 Europeans to talk about here. Both Aidan O'Brien trainees. We'll start off with Found, the Arc de Triomphe winner, and she's coming off a loss to a spectacular runner over in Europe, now coming here and running in the Breeders' Cup Turf, defending her title. She beat Goldenhorn in this race last year.
Yeah, and you know what? She's lost to Almazan twice now this year, so there's no shame in losing to him. Lost to him in the Champion Stakes, loses to him in the Irish Champion Stakes as well. So, it happens. Or she seems to be a little bit better than she is, but, Found's run some huge races in her last 4 starts, and she's the reigning champion of this race, beating Goldenhorn, I mentioned, the year before. She's going to have to go against Highland Reel, who was second behind her in the Arc. Highland Reel also has the benefit of not have run in the Champion Stake, so he might be a little bit fresher. I think he's a very talented horse. I like how he just didn't spit the bit when he kind of had a little bit of trouble in the Arc. Kind of got pushed back behind Found and then tried to run her down in the stretch while he was sitting in front of her down the backside. So he kind of had an interesting trip in there. Another horse I want to mention is Ulysses. I've kind of read a few reports about him. People kind of mentioned that horse might have some talent. He's just a younger horse with limited starts, but every time he gets a little better and a little better. Sir Michael Stout's the trainer. It's definitely not a guy that you can question. He's going to get the attention of Frankie Dettori as well. I think the horse is heading in the right direction, and he kind of reminds me of Magician.
And this race right here, the Turf, begins the 50-cent late pick 4 on Saturday. Just a reminder, folks, it's the Turf, the Filly and Mare Sprint, the Mile, and the Breeders' Cup Classic. Those 4 are the races in order in that sequence, the pick 4 sequence. Jose and Cody, I think we can all agree that Highland Reel, Found, and Flintshire, the 3 runners that look like most likely have a shot at winning this race. The rest are going to have to run very well, although, Jose, you said that Ulysses wouldn't surprise you if he pulled off an upset. So we've got those 4. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't know if he could win it, but I could see him improving enough to possibly hit the board in there.
There you go. So you got a little bit of a long shot there to consider. Underneath in exotics, Jose, we'll go to race number 10, the Filly and Mare Sprint. 13 runners signed on here. Cody, Have You Gone Away has been working like a champion. She's getting better with age. She's never been better, and she goes into this race looking tough.
Yeah, Tom Morley's definitely moved her up. She's running her best races of her life. She's working very, very well, as you just said. I think she's going to get a good setup going 7-8. She'll be mid-pack and making a big move. Some horses I'm going to use with her, maybe. I like her pretty well, but maybe use Paula Silver Lining underneath. She's been on the inside 8 of her last 9 races. She drew the rail 5 straight times. I think she should get a good trip being in the 9-post today, maybe being able to relax a little more. Last time she went 7/8, she relaxed and made a big move and got tired late. So hopefully Talonwell could save a little bit of horse and sit a good trip, and maybe she could power home as well.
And Paula Silver Lining only lost to Have You Gone Away by a neck 2 starts back, so it's not like she hasn't been close. And now that she has that outside post position, that will be to her advantage. You certainly don't want to draw the rail in a sprint, Cody.
Exactly.
And Have You Gone Away is not far away from the rail. She's actually in post position too. But nonetheless, she's been running great as of late. Hasn't been seen since August, but she has had some fast works indicating she'll be ready to go here. Jose, let's talk about a couple runners from you. By the Moon is the first one we'll talk about, and By the Moon, another one that's just gotten better.
Yeah, By the Moon has gotten better. I thought she ran a pretty good race over there in the Ballerina. Just kind of got passed by Have You Gone Away late stages, but I think that the way that this track will probably play, it'll suit her a little bit better, and I think she might have a shot to hold off Have You Gone Away charge.
And Karina Mia is 7-2 on the morning line. She cuts back in distance after a second-place finish to the likely Breeders' Cup Distaff favorite, Songbird. Now, we know Karina Mia is going to be fit. Bill Mott knows how to get these runners ready for the Breeders' Cup. But it's worth noting that 2 starts back, Jose, Karina Mia went off at even money in the Ballerina and lost to both Have You Gone Away and By the Moon. So off that effort, it looks like she'll need to improve a little bit.
Yeah, she might need to improve a little bit to win this race, but I wouldn't rule that out. So that's why I'm going to use her in here. I wouldn't rule out her improving. She's clearly better at one turn. 7/8 should help. There's not a crazy amount of speed in there. She's going to get a good post on the outside, so I'll give her another shot in here. I'm not a big fan of 7-2. Hopefully she'll float up a little bit.
Yeah, I would think that she would float up a little bit come post time. Jose, who are you going with in this race?
My top pick in here is going to be Have You Gone Away, followed by Paula Silver Lining, then By the Moon.
And Cody, are you sort of on the same page?
Yeah, I'm going to go Have You Gone Away over Paula Silver Lining, and I'm going to toss in the California horse for third. I thought she ran a good race, 3 back against Beholder and Stellar Wind, and now she's cutting back to a more suitable distance.
And Ian Krujak trains this runner. I believe that's the only runner in his barn, Cody, but he's done a heck of a job with this runner, Finest City. She's a game filly. She runs her heart out every race, so you know she's going to give a good effort regardless of where she finishes. Race number 11, beginning the late double, the Breeders' Cup Mile. 14 runners in this race, and I like Ironicus, Cody. And I know you do too. Ironicus ran into a slow pace, came motoring home in the Shadwell Turf Mile last time out. Ran his last quarter in under 22 seconds, which is just ridiculous. It's extremely impressive. Now he's going to get a faster pace to run into. He needs the trip, but he's going to be rolling down the lane.
Yeah, they're really going to have to hold him off because he's going to be flying down the lane. So he'll be my top pick as well at 8-1. I think he's just going to get a good setup and he's going to make a big run.
I'm not sure we're going to get 8-1 on him, Cody, but we can cross our fingers and hope so. Tepin, you're not going to get 8-1 on her. Obviously, she is extremely talented, and we just lost Jose there, or Jose's coming back. There we go. Cody, we'll get back to Tepin here. Her 8-race winning streak was snapped last time out when she lost to a very nice runner in Photo Call in the Great Lady Stakes. That was at a mile on the turf against fillies and mares. Now, Tepin, the defending champion of this race, comes back, and Cody trying to win 2 years in a row, the Breeders' Cup Mile. Do you think that she's regressing a little bit, or do you think that she can rebound off that second-place finish?
I don't think she ran a very good race last time out. I think Kid Sormo got away, and she just ran it. She didn't run very well. She ran second there, so I think she's going to be beatable. Before that race, she was heavily favored to win, and I think she would have probably been about 6-5 in the race before that race, anyways. So I think she's beatable at 3-1. She ran a bad race, so if you toss that race out, go ahead and take your 3-1. That'll be a good price for her. But I'm going to lean against playing. I'm going to play against her.
Cody's playing against Tepin. Jose, are you playing against Tepin?
No, I'll have her on my tickets. Like you said, at 3-1 to have Tepin. I mean, that's pretty good odds to have her. She's going to turn it around. You don't have her, you're going to be pretty upset with yourself. I do give Lamato probably the best shot to win this race, though. Lamato's been a really good sprinter, 7/8, 3/4. Hasn't had much success going a mile, but the connections seem to believe that the setup of the track at Santa Anita's going to help Lamato carry his abilities out to about a mile. So I think he's might be the most talented thing in here, and if he can get the mile, they better watch out.
And Cody, you like Lamato as well.
Yeah, I like him a little bit, but he reminds me of the last 2 years horses coming from over from that race. I believe the race he ran second in was going one turn. The only race he's gone 2 turns in was, I think, 5 back, and he ran an all right fourth. So I don't think he's that good at a mile. I think he might be a little bit better sprinting. So I'm going to use him, but I'm going to play against him as well. I'm probably going to use maybe Midnight Storm instead of him.
Okay, Midnight Storm. Talk about him, Cody. Jose, I know you wanted to talk about Midnight Storm, so we'll get to you in a second. But Cody, what intrigues you about Midnight Storm?
I think he gives it a good trip. I don't think he's necessarily need the lead, but if they give it to him with DeSormo's filly on the inside, I think that badly take it. But I think he'll set a good trip basically, and he's run some big races. And I was looking for something closer to the pace that could be the one to catch late, and I'm going to side with him at a big price. I think he's 12 to 1 morning line.
Yes, and he has to get over a bit with that outside post position. Jose, do you like Midnight Storm a little bit?
Yeah, I do, for the reasons that Cody mentioned as well. I mean, the horse has been running very well this year, winning 3 races in a row, throwing up big buyer speed figures every time, gone wire to wire in each start. I don't think he's need the lead as well, but he can be very tactical, and if he's in front at the top of the stretch, they're going to be having to run him down, and he won't necessarily be stopping. Another one I want to mention is Alex Springs. Alex Springs has won 2 Grade 1s over in Europe against the fillies recently. Won the Fast and Rock and also won the Kingdom of Varian Sun Chariot. Both with Ryan Moore. The horse has posted 119 not buyer speed figures, time 4 rating numbers, and seems to just be doing everything right now.
Yes, Alice Springs finding her best stride at this point. She's won 2 Group 1s in a row, and both of those races were at a mile, so clearly this is her best distance here, Alice Springs. Looking to give Aidan O'Brien his first Breeders' Cup Mile win, believe it or not. He's never won this race before, neither has he won the Filly and Mare Turf, interestingly enough, and the Classic. But we'll give him a pass because he has a lot more turf horses than dirt horses. In fact, all of them are geared towards the turf. Well, we've got one more race, fellas, to talk about here, and it is the Breeders' Cup Classic. And actually, I didn't ask about your top picks for the mile. That's probably pretty important. So, Cody, why don't you give me your top pick in the turf mile?
I'm going to go Ironicus on top with Midnight Storm second, and I'm going to use Alice Springs third to try to beat both Tepin and Lamato.
Okay, and Jose?
I've got Lamato, followed by Tepin, Ironicus, Alice Springs, and then Midnight Storm.
There we go, a competitive mile, and since we put it out there, I'm going to tell you all right now that Ironicus is my best bet of the Breeders' Cup. So that is my best bet of the Breeders' Cup. Yep, I'm going bold.
Wow.
8 to 1. I'm hoping I can get 8 to 1 on him. We'll see, though. So we've got one more race to analyze here, the big one, the Breeders' Cup Classic, and it looks like, based on Twitter talk and all the experts out there, it looks like a 2-horse race on paper between Arrogate and California Chrome. And Cody will start off with Arrogate, who may go off second choice. He ran one of the most spectacular Saratoga efforts ever, and never mind the Travers. I mean, I can't remember the last time a horse ran like that at Saratoga that impressively. He was the only horse in history to run under 2 minutes going 1.25 miles. It was a spectacular race. He hasn't run since then, but he could be the real deal, Cody.
Yeah, he ran a crazy last race. And if he does that again, interesting to see how Chrome responds to it, because you know how Chrome what he'll do. He'll try his hardest to try it there. But I'm not going to go any deeper in those two. I'm just going to play it black and white with just Arrogate and California Chrome. I think those are 2 of the best horses in the country. Arrogate's going to need to bring his game because Chrome will.
Absolutely, and Chrome, he is one of those horses that he gets on the track, he's ready to go. He does not have bad days. At least this year he hasn't had a bad day. He's been pretty spectacular. He's going to be ready to roll. And Jose, California Chrome, he's a sensational racehorse.
Yeah, he is. You know, it's the top earnings of all time. He's done everything they've ever asked him to do, and he's just a cool horse, and he's going to be very tough to beat. But if anyone's going to be able to do it, it's Arrogate. I don't think anybody else in here breathes the same air. Arrogate's going to have to repeat what he did, and that's going to be very hard to ask for. But
Sure.
California Chrome's going to come with its game, so I'm going to go with those two. Under, I'd probably use Melatonin, Shaman's Ghost, and Frosted.
Now, Jose, it's not going to be easy for Melatonin to put these runners to sleep, but you think that he has a chance to hit the board at a decent price coming off about a 6-month layoff?
Yeah, I mean, he's talented and he likes the surface, and they seem to be confident in the way he's training, so I'll give him a shot underneath with a few others.
And Shaman's Ghost and Frosted, those two, you want to alliterate why you decided to put them underneath?
Well, I think Frosted's talented. I'm just not sure about the mile and a quarter. I know I don't like him at a mile and a quarter, and I know he can't beat those top two, but he's still a very talented animal and deserves the respect of being put under in the ticket. And Shaman's Ghost ran a very big race over there at Saratoga last time out, and I think he deserves a little bit of respect as well.
Cody, one horse I would definitely use underneath is Hopportunity. Hopportunity, the only time he's finished worse than 4th was in his career debut. His very first race ever, he finished 5th behind a runner named Byron, who interestingly enough won this race a couple of years back. And Cody, I could definitely see a horse like Hopportunity earning another check here, finishing 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, he's a check machine. That's all he does is scoop up the big checks and the big races. He finally struck pay dirt East Coast. He caught a nice field on him. He got that done. So he's coming in off a win, which is big, I think. So I think he could definitely run a bang-up 3rd in here like he normally does.
Now, before we sign off, the big question, Cody, California Chrome or Arrogate?
It's tough. I'm going to use them both 100% on tickets. I'm going to pick Arrogate, though, just because I'm just going to pick the better price. So we're going to go Arrogate.
All right, there you go. He might wire him. Jose, California Chrome or Arrogate?
For the first time ever, I'm going to go California Chrome.
Okay, there you go.
I don't blame you.
I did so long. I'm going to do it. California Chrome.
The chestnut.
Most talented older horse in the country. We know that he's going to show up for sure. We don't know what to expect with Arrogate. If he shows up and does the same thing, he'll most likely be California Chrome. But I'm going to go with the horse that I know is going to be consistent and give his 100%. So I'll take California Chrome.
And California Chrome, guys, he's a horse that he has an advantage because really he's so tactical. You can pretty much put him anywhere you want in the race. And with Victor, that's going to be good with him because he can put him up on the pace with Arrogate. California Chrome dueled with Dortmund, and really it didn't phase him at all, and he blew him off like Dortmund was an allowance horse. So you'd have to imagine that he's not going to be phased with Arrogate up on the front end. But Jose, you can put California Chrome anywhere, and once Victor asks him, he's push button, he just goes.
Yeah, exactly. He's just all class and the kind of horse that you want.
So, I hate to put you on the spot, guys, but do you have a best bet of the Breeders' Cup, or do you still have to think about a few things? Jose, you're nodding your head. We'll start with you.
Good Samaritan. Good Samaritan.
Good Samaritan, the best.
Yeah, we're both all in on Good Samaritan.
If you watch the Friday video, you'd see they are the single. That horse is a single in the Breeders' Cup for Jose and Cody. Good Samaritan, he looks like the real deal, fellas.
Yep,
yeah, we sure
Conte Partillo in the opener on Saturday.
Yeah.
Conte Partillo for Wesley Ward, correct?
That's a lot of trouble
in
in Zuma Beach. Lots of trouble in was it the Zuma Beach or was it the other? What was the other?
I believe it was the Zuma Beach.
Surfer.
The Surfer.
The Surfer Girl.
It was the Surfer Girl. It was the Surfer Girl. Lots of trouble in the Surfer Girl. Very impressive at Saratoga. Watch out.
Running down the
Frankie
hill,
Dettori
facing
as well.
boys. There's a bunch of fillies facing boys in that race. But Conde Partillo, what's the morning line, guys? Do you know the morning line for that race?
4-1. 4-1.
I think 4-1.
Oh, she drew the rail. 4-1. 4-1 drew the rail. A daughter of Scat Daddy. Wesley Ward's got 3 in there, guys.
Front. He'll be rolling late.
Oh, I believe it, and I'm going to be ready to put a nice bet on her thanks to your guys' opinions there. I trust you guys. Conde Partillo is the best bet of the undercard for Cody and Jose for Wesley Ward. Wesley Ward has 3 in there. So you got to always watch his 2-year-olds, Cody. They're pretty unbelievable. They fire.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to have some fun at the Breeders' Cup. Cody and Jose will be watching from Churchill Downs. I'll be watching from Golden Gate Fields in San Francisco. And our buddy Jack is going to be, he's overseas right now. He'll be watching from Europe. It's going to be a great time here. Jack, we miss you, buddy. He is our 4th member of the King's Court. He's over with Godolphin Flying Start having a ball there. Enjoy your Breeders' Cup. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on the King's Court. Good night.
Good luck.